What would you do if you discovered you were owed $47,580? And no one ever told you? Not your VA rep, not the 1800 number, not the government website you checked for years. This is reality for thousands of veterans. Honest, hardworking men and women who left their families to serve this country and never knew there's a secret inside the VA system that could change their lives. Here's what really keeps me up at night. Right now, there may be tens of thousands of dollars, money you earned, just sitting, unclaimed, waiting for you. And every day, more and more veterans miss out, living paycheck to paycheck while the government clocks ticks on in silence. But tonight, all that changes, Doc. Because in the next few minutes, I'm revealing what they won't tell you, the overlooked rule that means you might qualify for lump sums, even if you were denied, even if years have passed, even if you gave up hope. So ask yourself, what could an extra $24,000 mean for your family? Could it be the difference between losing your house or finally catching up on the bills? Between living in permanent pain or affording the care you deserve? Stick with me. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is VA disability back pay? Imagine this. You filed a claim for disability after service because your knees never healed from rucking 10 miles in boots that never fit. But the day you file, the wheels of government churn slow. It takes months, sometimes years, for a decision. Back pay is the money that makes up for all those months you should have been paid, but weren't. If your claim is eventually approved, the VA owes you all the monthly payments you would have received, from the date you became eligible, all the way up to when they actually start paying you. One lump sum, direct deposit. This isn't a government handout. This is a contract, an IOU for your sacrifice. But here's where things get tricky. The VA often sets the effective date later than they should, or pushes your claim back if you don't know your rights. So unless you understand how this works, you risk losing thousands. So, how are veterans losing out on this money every single year? I'll break it down. The 5 biggest traps I see all the time. The wrong effective date trap. The VA uses your effective date to calculate when your payments start. If they set this wrong, even by a few weeks, you could lose hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. It could be the difference between your claim date and some other technical date. They pick missed appeals. The clock runs out, you file a claim, it gets denied. The heartbreak if you don't appeal within 1 year, you lose your rights to the original date you filed. For some, this means losing 3 to 8 years of potential payments. Gut punch. Incomplete claims. You only list your aching back but not your migraines, PTSD, or secondary issues. The result, you only get paid for a fraction of what you're truly suffering. Missed secondary conditions. So many vets don't realize that issues linked to their main injury are eligible. Knee pain leads to hip pain. Back injury leads to depression. TBI leads to sleep disorders. These conditions can add hundreds, sometimes thousands, per month to your benefits. Plus back pay. Ignorance is not bliss. The biggest reason by far, veterans simply don't know what they're entitled to. The VA doesn't pick up the phone and say, "Hey, you left $15,000 on the table. Have you fallen into any of these traps before?" Let's make this real. I want to introduce you to John. Fictional, but based on men and women I've worked with every day. John was Army infantry, 2 tours Iraq. He left in 2016 with constant back pain and brutal nightmares he never talked about. 2017, John files a claim for his back. Denied. He's discouraged, embarrassed, leaves it. 2018, John loses his job. Bills pile up. He has to sell his truck to stay afloat. 2024, a friend tells him about back pay. John, skeptical, watches a video just like this. He discovers he could have appealed within 1 year and kept his 2017 date. He can reopen his case with new evidence, and if he wins, he might get an effective date back to 2017. His migraines and sleep disorder never claimed are actually service-connected. John gets help from a VSO. He submits a supplemental claim with new buddy letters and medical records. 9 months later, he's approved for 60% total, effective October 2017. His bank account pings $38,542, 3 years after he gave up hope. What did it mean for John? He paid off collections, took his family out to dinner for the first time in 3 years, finally replaced his broken heater, but more than the money, he got to turn the page on years of feeling forgotten. It helps to know how the system works today. The 2025 rules are, in some ways, on your side if you know how to use them. How it should work. You file a claim, your effective date is usually the day you hit submit on va.gov or the day the envelope is stamped. VA decision. Could take weeks or years. During that waiting period, you're owed payments building up. Rating assigned, suppose it's 50%. Payments start, but should be retroactive to your effective date. Back pay lump sum, full amount lands in your bank, typically within 15 days of approval. How it actually goes, VA sometimes sets the wrong effective date. Maybe they used the day they got your doctor's note, not the day you filed. If you appeal within deadlines and win, your effective date tracks back to the earliest connected claim. If you submit new evidence or a supplemental claim, you may be able to recover the old effective date. Special new rule in 2025. Due to backlog, the VA adopted the intent to file system. If you submit an intent to file form, basically a placeholder, your effective date can be locked in, even if your full paperwork takes weeks or months. This is your lifeline if you need time to gather evidence or medical records. Let's do the practical. Step 1. Get your full VA file. Go to va.gov, request your full C file. Look for dates of all your claims, rating decision letters, and your listed effective dates. Step 2. Find your effective date. Is it the same as the date you first filed? If not, dig into why. Common mistakes. VA used a later submission date, ignored your intent to file, or didn't connect to your old claim. Step 3. Review all conditions. Ask yourself, have you included chronic pain, mental health, sleep problems, migraines, or any issues caused by your main problems? Each missing condition is money left on the table. Step 4. Were you ever denied? Did you get a denial and never appeal? You may still be able to reopen with new evidence. Did you appeal but VA reset your effective date? You may be entitled to a protected effective date, especially after 2019 appeals modernization. Step 5. Do the math. Use the VA's current and historical compensation rates. Just Google VA disability rate table. Count months between your true effective date and first payment. Multiply by your assigned percent and dependents. If you find a gap, you may be owed thousands. Step 6. Get help. Don't do this alone. Contact a VSO like DAV, American Legion, VFW, or an accredited attorney. Many work for no upfront cost, taking payment only from anything they recover for you. Now the secrets most VSOs and even VA employees don't talk about. Supplemental claims and new and relevant evidence. If your claim was denied but you've got new evidence, a private doctor, buddy statements, new diagnosis, you can file a supplemental claim. If they grant it, in many cases the effective date goes back to your original claim. Clear and unmistakable error. Q. If VA made a big mistake, overlooked clear medical evidence, or didn't follow the law, you can file a Q claim. If you win, the back pay can go back years or even decades. Secondary claims. The multiplier. If your initial injury caused other health problems, those are eligible, and each one restarts the clock for its own back pay. Presumptive conditions. New in 2025, burn pit exposure, Agent Orange, Gulf War illness. If these are linked to new listed conditions, you can file any time you develop symptoms. Effective date can go all the way back to when you first sought treatment, even if the government only added that condition to their list later. Intent to file form. Your best friend. This little form can lock in your date even if you need weeks to gather evidence. Submitted at the slightest hint you might have a claim. Sayer, monthly compensation. If you're housebound, need an aid, or have extra needs, you may get SMC. It adds up quickly as the years add up. Combat-related special compensation. CRSC. For retirees, if you're retired military and your injury is combat-related, CRSC can mean retroactive back pay and tax-free status. Let's make this ironclad. No stone unturned. Mistake 1. Not appealing denials. Immediately. You only have 1 year. Late question mark. You lose your place in line and years of benefits. Pro tip. Appeal and gather new evidence. Mistake 2. Missing deadlines on supplemental claims. 1 year deadlines apply after each new decision. Watch your calendar like a hawk. Mistake 3. Not getting copy of your full C file. This is your VA criminal record. Shows every move, file, note. Order it via via.gov or FOIA, if needed. Mistake 4. Not listing all conditions or downplaying symptoms. Don't tough it out. List every symptom, every limitation. The VA system doesn't reward modesty. Mistake 5. Not using intent to file. If you're waiting on records, worth it to submit this form today. Locks in your back pay. Mistake 6. Not getting outside help. A good veteran service officer knows all the legal cracks. Trust internet advice alone. For so many veterans, the struggle doesn't end when you come home. The battle for justice, for dignity, for what you earned, that fight can drag on for years. And listen, I've spoken to hundreds of you over the years. The mother who missed a year of her son's life fighting appeals, only to find out she was owed $19,800. The Marine whose marriage was on the rocks from stress, then got a back paycheck big enough to free them from debt. The Army translator who almost gave up until he saw a video like this and tried one last time. You are not a number. You are not a burden. You are a warrior who kept your promises. This country has to keep theirs too. Don't let fear, confusion, or embarrassment hold you back for one more second. Don't let this system swallow up your story. Let another Christmas go by, wishing you had what you were owed. If you served, if you sacrificed, if you struggled through pain and sleepless nights, you earned every cent. So here's your next step. Download your VA records today. Find your effective date. Pull up your letters. If your benefits seem off, even by a few months, reach out for help. File that intent to file. Call a VSO or a trusted attorney. Tell another vet what you learned, and then when that lump sum hits your account, do one thing: use it to build the life you fought for. If this video made a difference for you, share it with someone who needs it. Ask your questions below. Hit subscribe and let's keep fighting this fight together. Leave money behind. You fought for this country. Let's fight for your benefits. Because the money is there. You just need to know how to unlock it.